Hello. Hey, what's going on? I know it's me again. It's Back to the Basics. I am your hostess. This is another Back to the Basics brief. A lot going on. First of all, happy Sunday to everyone out there. Grand risings, grand day, grand afternoon, grand evening, grand night for those wherever you are who are listening. I know I was checking out my Anchor and my Spotify, and there are a lot of people who I see who listen from various parts of this planet that we're, this prison planet that we're on. But anyway, one of the first that I saw as I was looking at my Anchor was Morocco. Shout out to Morocco, and the United States was second, and then the country of India was third. And a lot of other people. I got some people listening in Chile and Malaysia and Bahrain, and my goodness, all the way over there in Singapore. I got a few people listening from Australia. So first of all, happy Sunday to everybody out there. I hope everyone is doing okay. Everyone is doing well. So I just wanted to offer a little bit of commentary on the news that I'm hearing. I was just listening to Jazeera English and just seeing what is going on around the globe when it comes to the COVID-19. We do have, right now, we currently have two vaccines, one from Pfizer, and I do believe that Moderna, if it hasn't already been approved for emergency authorization, it will soon be. And I do believe we have another one from AstraZeneca that is they're still going through their clinical trials. But we have at least two vaccines that we're going to have soon, if the Moderna one hasn't already been approved. On this eve, there's a lot going on here in the United States. We are on the eve of yet another partial government shutdown. So without any further ado, let me just go ahead and get into this. I didn't want this to be too long, so I am going to include the link because, again, I'm not trying to steal any material. This is all fair use. I'm not trying to copyright infringe. I'm just offering a little bit of commentary to the headlines of today, December 20th, 2020. So let me get on into it.
Then a number of European nations have imposed new restrictions on travellers from the UK in response to a new fast-moving strain of coronavirus. Passengers rushed to catch the last trains on Sunday before the new rules in the UK came into place. The countries, including the Netherlands, in France and in Germany, have imposed new restrictions too.
Now you heard that. The Netherlands, France, and Germany have imposed new restrictions. So again, for all those who may think that this is a quote-unquote black-brown disease, this COVID-19 affects everybody. When the virus first, came to light, Italy was hit very hard. So the European countries were hit hard. Were some of the first countries actually to be hit hard as the virus, as the COVID-19 spread around the world. Let's keep going.
The measures come amid fears that it could spread to the continent. Italy has reported one case of the new strain in someone recently returned from the United Kingdom. Meanwhile, Britain's health minister has warned that this variant strain is out of control there, and the government has put stay-at-home.
Notice what this gentleman said. variant strain. So again, you know what this may indicate, that the COVID-19 is or has mutated. Because again, I'm just looking at the wording here. It's saying that the health minister warned that this variant strain is out of control. Again, this is coming from Jazeera English. This is all fair use. All fair use. And again, this should concern everyone, because again, once stuff starts, may or may not mutate, then how effective are the current vaccines? Like, how effective will they be if now there may or may not be a variant strain? But again, this is what this gentleman is reporting from Al Jazeera English.
Borders in place in parts of the country, as Nadine Barber now reports from London.
With a week to go until Christmas, goodwill in some parts is being strained to the limit. In much of the UK, a planned relaxation of indoor mixing rules has been cut from 5 days to 1 day. And in England, a third of the population is now in new Tier 4 restrictions, meaning people can't mix at all with other households. Here in...
You hear that? They can't mix with other households. Here we go. This gentleman is reporting from London.
Central London, there are people out and about for a walk, but all the shops are shut. These new restrictions are going to be devastating for thousands of businesses, as well as for families who had planned to get together at Christmas.
I think that the new strand of the virus is definitely concerning, and I think it is the right decision, but I just wish it would have been made a few days earlier.
Yeah, I'm pretty upset about it. I think the lack of planning and the lack of ability to tell people that this was going to happen in advance of when it did caused a lot of havoc and confusion.
Okay, both of these people, and I hate to have to say this, but I am going to say what I'm going to say. I will definitely put the link in the description box, and I may even pin it to the comments. But both of these people whom you just heard were not wearing a mask. I repeat, they were not wearing a mask or face shield. But yet these same two people don't like what is going on as far as the restrictions. Do you see what I'm saying? Particularly to the B1 family. Do you see what I'm saying? So certain people don't want these restrictions, but then you're not wearing a mask or a face shield or any type of PPE, personal protective equipment. Let me keep going. Y'all know I can go on and on a long rant, but I'm not going to do that.
There's also a ban on non-essential travel in and out of Tier 4 areas. That's where the rise in COVID-19 cases has been steepest, with London's mayor saying the numbers of coronavirus patients in hospital are back at levels last seen in the spring. The government's put the surge down to a new variant that's much more easily transmitted.
The new variant is out of control and we need to bring it under control, and this news about the new variant has been an incredibly difficult end to, frankly, an awful year, and it's important for everybody to essentially act like they might have the virus.
Now that was the UK health minister speaking, but again, those two previous people who don't like the restrictions, they were not wearing a mask. So let me keep going.
But trains out of London were packed on Saturday ahead of the deadline, and on Sunday more travellers headed for the stations, raising fears about the mutated virus spreading.
Now you heard what they said. They used the word mutated.
Things like wearing a mask, things like 2 metre social distancing, they just reduce your chances of getting infected. They don't stop you getting infected. I guess that this increased transmissibility shifts the dial a bit back in the favour of the virus. Those things, the mask wearing, the social distancing, become a bit less effective.
With many questions unanswered.
Now you notice what he said, that the social distancing and wearing a mask reduces the chance. Notice what this gentleman just said, reduces the chance. And again, Okay, some people have been social distancing. I know for the people in the state of New York and also California, I mean, Governor Newsom was very aggressive, and also Governor Cuomo. They have both been very aggressive in an attempt to, sort of, try to reduce any type of increase, or, reduce the effect on, that this has on, their states. But let me keep going.
Said about the new strain, the Netherlands imposed a ban on flights to and from the UK. Other European nations have...
Now notice where they banned flights from. It was to and from the UK. Now, earlier in March, when the country had closed, a national state of emergency, President Trump, he initiated a national state of emergency on March 13th. And then shortly after that, there were actually travel bans to and from Italy. I'd have to find the source, but again, this isn't the first time that there has been like a ban from particularly a European nation. You see what I'm saying? So all this narrative about, that African Americans and Hispanics are disproportionately affected. Yeah, but statistics can so easily be manipulated. Because if you look at outside of the United States, it's not a quote unquote African American Hispanic problem. The European nations, again, are imposing tighter restrictions. I mean, we just heard that even households are not even going to be able to, commingle. You see what I'm saying? Let me keep going.
Followed suit, at least temporarily, saying they have to protect their citizens and their health services. That's also the reason the UK government's given for the last-minute lockdown. It's hinting the new restrictions may have to stay in place for at least 2 months until a far greater number of people have had the COVID-19 vaccine.
Now, did you hear that? They may be under these tighter restrictions for possibly 2 months, or until more people get the what? Get the COVID-19 vaccine.
Nadeem Barber, Al Jazeera, London.
Well, shipments for the second approved COVID-19 vaccine have begun across the United States. Container loads of the vaccine by Moderna have been moved from...
Well, that answers my question. Here comes the Moderna vaccine, right behind Pfizer.
warehouses to hospitals across the country. And this comes as politicians are set to vote on a massive financial relief package to help struggling families and businesses.
Mind you, they have until midnight tonight to get they shit together. And yes, I'm gonna say it just like that. That these mofos, these ungrateful assholes have until midnight tonight to get it done. Now, mind you, the initial stimulus was released around, tax season. It was mid-April, around April 15th of this year, of 2020. So all this time has passed, and they haven't, there hasn't been a second stimulus. So let's hear what is about to be reported from Al Jazeera English, fair use.
Our White House correspondent Kimberly Halkett has more.
With the approval of a second vaccine in the United States, tough decisions must now be made. Who is next to receive it? Last week, it was frontline health workers and the elderly in care homes who were the first for the vaccine from Pfizer. Now, as the vaccine from Moderna rolls out, essential workers are next. But with just 50 million doses available until the end of January,
essential workers. Y'all heard that right. Mind you, they just said 50 million doses. Here we go.
There's not enough for the 87 million Americans who qualify.
We are very confident that by June, anyone in America who wants to have a vaccine will have that.
Okay, this gentleman who is speaking, he is let me see, his name is Admiral Brett G. I don't want to mess up this gentleman's last name. I'm going to put some respect on his name. But now you heard what they said. Now, there are 50, million doses. And however, there's 87 million people who actually need it. So, somebody ain't gonna get it. So it'll be interesting to see how, as far as essential workers, who will be prioritized next. Very interesting. Oh yeah. And don't even worry about it. I plan on living at least another 6 decades. You heard me. I plan on living at least until 95 years old, just so I can say that I surpassed my great-grandmother who passed the summer of 2001, and she was 93 years old whenever she passed. Oh yeah, I plan on being here. I don't care what global social phenomenon happens next, but here we go.
That opportunity.
But for now, less than 6 million doses of the Moderna vaccine will be distributed starting on Sunday, with inoculations beginning on Monday. A Centers for Disease Control Advisory Group voted on Sunday on federal recommendations for who should receive the next batch of vaccinations. But all 50 states have the power to set their own priorities. In the Northeast, that...
Now, you heard what this young lady said, that the states have the power to set their own priorities.
Includes the manufacturing sector. In Florida, it's the broader elderly population. Police, firefighters, public transit workers, and teachers top most state lists, but businesses are also lobbying to prioritize their workers to allow local economies to get back up and running. Still, the number of infections, hospitalizations, and deaths in the United States due to COVID-19 continues to climb. Acute care hospitals across the nation are overwhelmed, leaving ambulances with critically ill patients lined up outside, sometimes for hours.
Now that's a shame, to be lined up outside for hours. That really is a shame. Let me keep going.
Economic hardship is also great. With renewed business closures and lockdowns, jobless claims in the U.S. are rising. Congress is promising $900 billion in economic relief and $1.4 trillion to keep the government open. If signed into law, the bill would provide direct payments to most Americans.
For people who are out of work through no fault of their own.
This is Senator John Barrasso.
$300 a week for enhanced unemployment going into next year, and for the small businesses and the working families all across America. We were going to do more paycheck protection loans so those small businesses can stay open.
But Democrats and Republicans on Capitol Hill have been working on the relief deal for months. Votes on the relief package are expected on Sunday. Members of Congress have been told to expect those votes late into the night as Congress tries to reach an 11th hour deal.
This is where I have my problem. This is, looks like White House course, what's her name? Miss Kimberly. So she's reporting that they've been working on this second stimulus for months now. And now, again, here we are at the 11th hour. Here they go, trying to push something through. Now, they've been working on this for months now. They've had many, many months. But it seems like, let me see, due to it being an election year, that obviously they had their obviously the people of this country, the United States, wasn't really high on as far as their list of priorities, because this should have been done months ago. This is why the Congress approval rating has consistently over decades been so low. Because again, there's a lot of talking and there's little to no action. Like, I mean, that right there is a dream job. Okay, a person gets elected into the Congress or the Senate. Okay, you literally talk. You can pretty much filibuster a bill or talk a bill to death. You can pretty much do a lot of talking. You can sit on a lot of committees. You can be the chairman of a committee. You can do this and, I was on the board of, transportation and all this other bullshit. But again, there's a lot of talking and not a lot of action. I mean, this is where local government and the grassroots movements are so important, because because it starts, the ground level. All this big government stuff and all this stuff with the, the FDA and the CDC and the World Health Organization and all that. It's just a bunch of red tape, It's just a bunch of red tape. It has to start locally, but yeah, it really does piss me off that, again, it's the 11th hour. If nothing gets passed by midnight, then here we go again with a possible partial government shutdown. Like, this is ridiculous. How many times has this happened in the past decade that we have literally went into a partial government, shutdown or whatever? I mean, this is just pathetic. And I know it's happened in the past decade, because I know it happened here just a few years recently, a couple years back. So, I mean, this is a shame. These people don't care. These elites, they don't care. It's a shame that back in 2008 that we, Main Street, bailed these suckers out. Oh, what was his name? The chairman of the Federal Reserve Bank, that Alan Greenspan or whoever his successor was. Oh, we got to bail them out, or otherwise the whole economy. Okay, so Main Street bailed out Wall Street, and now look what has happened again. I mean, that stimulus back in April, that was peanuts. But I bet you these banks and all these other people are getting their money. I bet you everybody else, these elites and all that, I remember 2008. There was a lot of people who made a killing. Like, they literally left out with gold parachutes. They still had their retirement intact and a whole bunch of bells and whistles. But then you had people home foreclosures. It was sad. People were, losing their job, homeless, businesses like downsizing. It was a mess. I remember 2008, just like it was yesterday. I remember oil being $147 a barrel in like July of 2008, prior to the crash that we had September 29th of 2008. It was a mess. But again, for those, I'm just here to challenge us to think. We have to learn from the past. Congress doesn't. I mean, if anybody out there, if you're waiting for the government to save us, I mean, phew, wow, that's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. Because it seems like everything else is a priority. This freaking selection that just happened back in November, oh, that took a priority. And all these other things, all, you know, the what is it, the election and whatever else that was going on, because so much has happened this year, 2020. But it seemed like everything else had a priority. All this rhetoric about, you know, defund the police and all these war of words, and now all of a sudden now climate change is now a big thing again, just like it was back in 2000. So all these things had top priority, and then now it's the 11th hour. The government may or may not go into government shutdown, and these people are finally casting votes on this. What is it? On this stimulus. I mean, this is sad. Just wow.
Kimberly Helkett, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Well, let's get the very latest now from Heidi Jo Castro, who's live for us in Washington, D.C. And Heidi, what's the latest on the $900 billion relief package?
Here we go. We're about to hear if these assholes have made any progress. And yes, I said what I said. These assholes, these ungrateful assholes, to see if they made any progress. I bet they haven't. Again, this is being reported by Al Jazeera English. Fair use.
Well, Nick, we are approaching that 11th hour that Kimberly was just reporting about, and the leaders of Congress have just announced that a deal has been reached. The Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell speaking on the floor, saying that the COVID package has a deal, as well as the very important bill to keep the federal government open past midnight. Now he says all that's missing is to finalize the text and to bar any last-minute obstacles. The Democratic leader, the minority leader of the Senate, Chuck Schumer, was also on the floor saying that the White House is also behind this deal. That is important because yesterday President Trump was on Twitter trying to get the $600 check for Americans to be a higher amount. That is a demand that basically people in Congress ignored, and up to this point, it appears that this bill would have the president's support. Chuck Schumer laying out a very aggressive timeline, saying not only would both chambers vote on these two pieces of legislation tonight, but he hopes that even the president would sign this into law tonight. So what does it all include? Well, it's those $600 stimulus payments for most Americans.
Wow. So we just went from $1,200. Oh, these assholes. We just went from $1,200 to $600. Okay. Yeah. Wow. You know, I thank you so much for your generosity. But anyway, let me keep going. I'm being facetious, okay? Being a little sarcastic.
As well as extended unemployment benefits through the middle of March. But this certainly does not mean, Nick, that the members of two parties are holding hands, not by a long stretch. We still saw...
You see how they like to say that, oh, the two parties aren't holding hands. Oh, yes, they are. If you think that the two parties are not two different sides of the same coin, then you are in and out of consciousness. You are still sleeping. Need to wake up. They always like to say that, oh, well, you know, they're not holding hands. Please, they've been holding hands. Let me keep going.
Plenty of finger-pointing Democrats saying that this is an emergency bill that is 8 months too late, calling it too little, but still better than nothing. Republicans already accusing Democrats of wanting too much and fearful that once the Biden administration takes over, that this would only be the beginning of more and more government spending. Nick?
Oh, here we go. The blame game. First of all, both, it doesn't matter, what is it, Democratic Party or Republican. Look, y'all both suck. That's why, you know, your approval rating is pretty much in the trash, because you are trash. And you waited until what y'all say 8 months later to even pass anything. This should have been on the floor like weeks ago, like prior to the selection. Yeah, I'm gonna keep calling it that. That's the prior to the selection. This should have already been done. Like, what's the point of having y'all? And you're supposed to be representing the people and serving the people, but you do not. You continue to serve yourselves and continue to get reelected. Like Mitch McConnell, my gosh, how long has he been in the Congress? Like Mitch McConnell, come on. How long has he been in the Congress? I get so sick of seeing you same old people. Nancy Pelosi, what is it? Mitch McConnell, all these people, Lindsey Graham, like, go away. Take a break. Like, just, ooh. I'm telling you, just the same old people, the same faces. It's like, wow, no wonder we're not getting anywhere. These people get elected and they literally stay elected for decades. Let me keep going. Y'all know I be going on a rant sometimes.
All right, Heidi, thanks very much. Progress at last. Heidi Jo Castro there in Washington, D.C. Now, spyware sold by an Israeli private intelligence firm.
Okay, we're going to stop right there. I mostly wanted to make sure I copy this link. That was the highlights of Al Jazeera for today. Just to see what is going on, I am going to copy this link just to make sure that it is put in the description box or the about. Might pin it even to the comments, because this is important. I mean, I just don't understand how people can be elected over and over again and then continue to not make the people the priority. This is where I get very, very tired. And it's like, well, what's the point of even voting if nothing has literally changed? Like, nothing seems to be getting better. So, I mean, this do nothing Congress. I just disgrace, just disgusting, just disgusted. I'm just disgusted. You know, I notice that as I get older, and when I think about what I learned in school, you know, democracy and the executive branch and the legislative branch and the judicial branch, like, what? So what? And the preamble and the Constitution and, you know, in the Declaration of Independence, like, what? Why? Like, what? It's just a piece of paper. Oh yeah, we have freedom of speech as long as it falls in line with the narrative of the powers that be. Oh yeah, I can get up on here. Oh, absolutely. Trash black men, trash black women, trash just black people in general. And I'll just, hey, I'll get a butter biscuit, you know. I'll get sponsors. I'll get contracts. You know, I might get my own radio show and, you know, and blow up. If I push an anti-black narrative, oh yeah. If I push a pro, I don't know, LGBTQ narrative, oh yeah, if I could just keep right on going, right on blowing up. That's why I really don't worry about numbers. I mean, I'm pro family. I don't really worry about numbers. I don't worry about no beefs and all that other low frequency bullshit, because that's all that is. All that back and forth and all this stuff. We come on. This is exactly what the enemy wants. This is exactly what the oppressor wants. He doesn't want black men and black women to come together and work together. They want us fighting amongst each other. The oppressors, they want the black man to go his way and the black woman to go her way. And then guess who is exposed for them to get to? The children. That's who's exposed. That's who they want. You see all this push to lower the age of consent and all that? That's just what they want. They want to legalize pedophilia. Oh, you better believe it. That's what they want. This society where, now, you can be anything you want to be. Yeah, you can be anything you want to be. You can be whatever gender you want to be. And pretty soon, who knows, you might even be whatever age you want to be. So I'm 34, but yet I believe myself to be 16. So I can just go mess around with that 15-year-old or 14-year-old kid over there. And it's cool because I can be whatever I want to be. Y'all ever think about that? That's pretty much what it's coming to. This is exactly what the oppressor wants. Let's keep everybody fighting. They don't want anybody to cooperate with anyone, particularly across generational lines. I'm a millennial. They don't want me talking to the baby boomers. They don't want me talking to Generation Xers. They don't want me talking to anybody, particularly if it's a black man. Oh no. 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 That goes against their narrative. That goes against their objective to keep everybody divided. Divide and conquer has been a very old strategy. The narratives that are being pushed, that is all psychological warfare. Even now, I know I'm getting a little long-winded, but even now, with the news that we have just heard, is a narrative that pushes fear, that pushes anxiety. That is a very low vibration energy. That is not good for us. It's not good for anybody. Look what was reported. 50 million doses, yet 87 million people needed. And now everybody, they said, essential workers, but also now businesses are competing for those 50 million doses. So again, it looks to me, now again, this is just me going on my little rant on my theory. So it appears that, an artificial shortage to further create fear. They don't want people to have peace of mind. They don't want people to meditate and operate on a high frequency and be at peace and have, stability and experience joy and laughter and humor and, to be operating in logic and not emotion. These people don't want that, because you see, that does not help them get to their objective. They want people operating at a very low frequency. Fear, anxiety, anger, stress. Sadness, depression, suicidal ideations. With or without a plan. This is what these people, I swear, it is a sickness. These people thrive off of creating artificial shortages to make people afraid. Then they have the nerve when people such as myself and other content creators who put out good information to question everything that's going on, to say, hey, people, do your own research, then we get labeled as, oh, well, there they go pushing misinformation. Okay, all right. But yet you the same asshole that's creating an artificial shortage, and people and you got people competing for these 50 million doses. We'll see if they actually pass this stimulus, this 900 million, and like whatever it is, this big $600 check. This is a joke. Giving people peanuts. This is a joke. I've never. It just seems that just seems to be the number one psychological tool. Let's keep promoting fear. Let's keep let's keep pushing these divisive narratives to keep people divided, to keep people angry, mad, fighting, yelling, screaming and hollering, and acting like children, so that we can continue our Agenda 2030. I mean, this really is sad. We got to learn from the past. We can't keep falling for the same old tricks, the same strategies. I'm thankful for, the media outlets that are on here who do, report the truth. There's so many of you. I don't want to start naming because then I'll leave somebody out, but you know who you are. Report good information. You analyze through all of the BS that's going on. And I'm thankful for you. I'm glad that I had a chance that I can tune in to media that is, centered on, Black people. But anyway, I went on a long rant, y'all. Y'all forgive me. I am going to put this link again. This is just some headliners about what's going on today on December 20th, 2020. I hope I didn't bring down, anybody's, who was operating at a high frequency. But we are approaching the 45-minute mark, and I definitely want to keep this below an hour. This is just the Back to the Basics brief. I am your hostess, Back to the Basics. I love you as a sister. I encourage everyone who is listening to think for themselves, do their own research. I thank everyone for listening to this broadcast / podcast. And all I can say is don't let fear rule you. Don't let fear paralyze you. Let it be a motivator. Had to turn all this negative rhetoric, these negative narratives into something positive. We have to continue to stay focused. Whatever goals that you may have, I encourage you to do them right now. Don't wait. Because tomorrow isn't promised to anyone. Don't wait. Create that vision board. Create the the SMART goals, something that is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and that has a time limit on it. And get that vision board started and get going. Because right now is the time to do what it is that you want to do. Don't let fear hold you back. You know, oppression is a terrible thing. You don't have to be, you know, just don't let fear hold you back. You know, oppression is a common denominator. It does affect all of us. Doesn't matter the complexion, but we all know who the lowest case people are, and that's black people. But don't let that discourage you. With that being said, I love you as a sister. None of my statements are endorsed by the United States Army, Department of Defense, and or military branch, element, or government entity. The military is apolitical, and it will stay apolitical. None of my statements are endorsed by the U.S. Army, Department of Defense, and or military branch, element, or government entity. I know there's going to be a day that will come that I will not say that. All right, y'all. Until next time, be safe out there. I'm gone.